Hello, my name is Elis Adelle. I'm an intuitive tarot reader and astrologer, and I'm here to talk to you today about the July 15th Mars Uranus conjunction at 26 degrees of Taurus. Okay, so for context, the last Mars Uranus conjunction we had was on October 7th. And if you think back to October 7th, 2023, what happened in the world, you can get an understanding of what the potential for this energy is. Whenever Mars and Uranus meet in the sky, it's akin to what I call a forest fire, right? There's some kind of destruction, there's some kind of big happening or shift that happens that literally changes the landscape either of our internal psyches or of our actual physical reality, that changes things in such a way where it's like you can't go back to the way things were before. There is no going back. There is no return. Things have shifted permanently, and for better or for worse, they're changed. And so if we can consider the happenings of what happened last October 7th at that Mars-Uranus conjunction and how that has radically changed the world stage, the world in which we live, and how there is no going back now, right? How things have on the world stage changed so dramatically since then, and the situation is so tragic that's happening, right? But if we can apply this to our more personal lives and to our more inner process, consider how a forest fire might influence or impact your life, right? And there's no real way to predict this either. That's the nature of Uranus. Uranus is unpredictable. Uranus is the planet that rules shifts in consciousness, and it rules the quantum non-linear realms. So it really provides an opportunity for us to radically shift and change our perspective, our point of view. It gives us the potential for huge amounts of awakening and seeing things from a higher perspective. In the same way that since October 7th, now many people see the world with a new perspective. They see the corruption that's inherent within governments and our world ruling systems and structures. They see how inherently flawed and basically evil a lot of these institutions are that are maintaining the current world order, right? So in the same way, we can apply this to our personal lives, that when Mars meets Uranus, there can be this great shift, this great something that is triggered, something happens either within us or around us that we can no longer view the things that we used to view in the way that we used to view them. There is no going back. So it's very interesting for us to examine where 26 degrees of Taurus is in our birth chart. That can give us kind of an idea of where and how this may play out for us as individuals. But oftentimes I find when Mars and Uranus are involved that it may have nothing to do with the part of your birth chart where it's in, it may have something that's like a completely different area of your life. However, sometimes it can correlate quite nicely with where that is in your birth chart. It really depends on your personal birth chart, if you have any planets or points in or around 26 degrees of the fixed signs. So that would be Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. If you have anything around 26 degrees, give or take 3 or 4 degrees on either side of those fixed signs, then you will be feeling this especially strongly. And you can look to the themes of what that placement is in your life, right? So for example, if you have the moon at 26 degrees of Scorpio, for example, this will be affecting your moon by opposition. So there could be, and depending on where the moon, what house your moon is in your birth chart, you can gain more information on that. But if it's interacting with the moon, this Mars-Uranus conjunction will bring some emotional revelations, could bring some new perspectives about what it is that you emotionally need to feel safe, secure, and held within the world. And excuse me, and you may gain some kind of new perspective about yourself, and your own needs and desires, and also your innermost emotions, right? This could bring up some shadow type things that need to come to the surface. It will really depend, right, on where this moon would be placed in your birth chart. But overall, the energy of this particular meeting of Mars and Uranus is an awakening. It's something that once we see it, we can't unsee it. Once we've gone to the higher level, once we've reached the new perspective, there is no going back. There's no way to change. You can't devolve from there, okay? So it's important that around this day, July 15th, we give ourselves some space, right? If you're able to avoid signing any contracts, avoid traveling, avoid doing anything that's very also high risk or actually physically dangerous. Like, this is not a day to go like paragliding or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's the kind of day where you want to avoid things that are actually physically high risk for physical accidents, are prone with this placement. It's a day where if you can schedule some free time, or if you can take the day off, that would be ideal. If you are able to avoid traveling, avoid signing contracts, avoid making major life decisions, avoid any kind of medical procedures on this day, that will also be helpful. Okay. The thing with this placement with this conjunction is to really think about, how can we be flexible? How can we be flexible with whatever new information, whatever new insight, whatever proverbial forest fire may be clearing out and changing and radically shifting our internal and external landscapes? How can we allow ourselves to be flexible, to roll with the punches, to go with the changes? Okay, it's a little tough because it's in Taurus, which doesn't really like being flexible. Taurus really wants to kind of stick to the tried and true, to keep going with the plan, to not be flexible, right? To be steady and consistent and to keep going. But with this meeting, it's important for us to think about flexibility, to think about malleability, and to consider, how can we remain open-minded and open-hearted to the potential changes that could be coming in our lives, okay? So just to wrap this up, take time off if you're able to. Be prepared that on the world stage there could be some developments akin to the last a conjunction that we had on October 7th. There could be some developments in that part of the world and in that arena of politics and of unfoldment. But mostly for this, on a personal level, it's important for us to just stay aware that change is coming, and that's okay. All right. Just like a forest fire, the forest fire dramatically changes the landscape, but it clears away the debris and the old overgrown residue of the old forest to make space for the new forest to grow. Okay, so in the same way, we're going to be going through this within our lives. So check out where 26 degrees of Taurus is in your natal chart for more information. If you would like to get a natal chart reading with me, I am available to do personal readings, personal chart interpretations. If you're interested in a shorter analysis of your chart, then we can begin with that, with like a sun, moon, rising. If you're interested in a full in-depth where we look at all of the planets and placements of your birth chart, we can do that also. And yeah, I think that's it. I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope it gave you some information and guidance maybe that you needed. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more content like this, consider giving me a follow or a like. It does help me out. Sending you lots of love.